March 8th, 2021. Evil Woman. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast talking about Monday Night Raw. Well, we could tell what they think is the headline segment with Alexa and Randy Orton tonight as we end the show. Looking at this build, Bray Wyatt, not yet. I assume he's inside the little box. It's going to pop up out of the box. It's going to be beautiful. Probably the night after Fastlane.
So, Glenn, are you still liking this?
I got to be honest. Tonight, the start and this end, the in between, there were some moments.
No, I mean the Alexa Bliss Orton stuff.
Yeah, it was one of the better things It was one of the better things tonight. That's what I'm saying. Like this at the ending, at least got my attention. If this hadn't happened at the ending, I would have been looking at random stuff.
So I had to be very honest with myself, Glenn, and I get into a habit of this, and I think other fans do too. When we're really rooting for something to do well, we give it more life than we would other talent segments. I think we can all admit to that. This is one of them. You guys rewind these shows, watch them in the past. I rave about the magical powers of one Bray Wyatt and how much I love it. Can't get enough of it. I dig it. I really dig more importantly, the transition into Alexa becoming a bigger star and taking an impossible situation that I know I could never pull off and pulling it off in spades. And then it started to run its course. It started to drag. Nothing was really happening. And that's not her fault. That's their fault. But still, it was kind of wearing thin. And I wouldn't admit it. I was like, no, it's still great. And Raj would bury like the magical parts. And I'm like, you're crazy, Raj, you're missing out. But in the back of my head, I've got to be honest, I was starting to not feel it as much. I would say 3 weeks prior to me finally admitting it, that I've had enough. Enough.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, Matt. And you know what this is like? You ever watch a movie that you really love with your wife, or you take her to a restaurant and you're just halfway through come on, isn't this awesome? Isn't this great? She's not on board. And finally by the end you're sulking, okay, wasn't that cool? I'm sorry.
I'm the worst movie picker of all time. So this is a common occurrence in my household.
Yeah, I get it. Sometimes it's hard to keep the faith, keep the enthusiasm, yes. But look, what was better? The Alexa Randy thing at the end, or the Shane Braun segment?
Oh,
yeah.
He has a point there. You do have a point. But again, we're talking being the world's tallest short person, right? Like this, we're not really comparing it to something big here, something fantastic or whatever. So I don't know. I got to let go of this and just hope for the best. I'm breaking up with them.
Brett Murphy, bring it up. You want a true definition of a poop fest, go to Shane's promo. That was new levels of bad. I tweeted I think that's the worst segment I've ever seen Shane McMahon in.
Yeah, he's usually not in many. He's usually pretty good. They use him pretty well.
Yeah. Paul Perry said, Matt, please do more Kenny Omega pyro talk. It's the funniest stuff I've heard in a long time. I heard he built the pyro for the posts in the Orton Styles match.
So, do you guys think we should hire him in Longwood for our 4th of July?
AEW obviously having a rough day today with how that pay-per-view went off. I'm having kind of a rough day myself. I was real quick get this out there. I posted it on Twitter this morning, but I made a line. I said something about during the Hikaru Shida match recap on last night's podcast that was just trash, and I really do apologize. That's not, it was so disrespectful, and I apologize for that. It's really been bothering me that I said it, and anyway, I do apologize for that, and
good on you.
As soon as I was saying it last night, I was in mid-sentence. I was like, oh, what am I doing? Why am I saying this?
Yeah, you could kind of see it. I usually talk over everybody, and this probably, I'm sure, was no different. But I got that vibe from you as well. So good on you for, holding true to your conscience.
Yeah. No, it was trash, and I'm really sorry.
It happens, brother.
So, Justin Lopez, $4.99, saying Raw was rough tonight. Off topic, y'all think Eddie Kingston still selling the fumes from last night?
You guys, you cannot entertain me enough with these comments. Please, more. Oh boy, poor Eddie Kingston. Oh boy. Yeah, Raw had an opportunity here tonight to do something and get our minds off of that disaster from last night.
Yeah.
What do we have here?
Jacoby Wright, 499, saying, I thought the first 2 hours of Raw were pretty decent, but the last hour, and the shame stuff,
I kind of agree.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
There were some high points, right? Everything with Bobby Lashley, good.
Yes.
I thought the women's stuff was good tonight. I think with Drew and Sheamus, great match. Not sure I'm invested in the story, but great match tonight.
You can always count on them having a great match. It's just that Drew is going to win. Or, he's not getting beat. And this seemed like a setup for something at Fastlane. Probably a last man standing or falls count anywhere, something like that.
Yeah. What else tonight? We opened with the recap of last week. Bobby Lashley winning the title off The Miz, becoming the new champion. And we get the rematch. First thing off the bat tonight with Bobby Lashley retaining due to the Hurt Lock. You guys, this is it with The Miz and Bobby? Miz is going to go back to Bad Bunny now?
Yes. Well, no question. And I love Miz. I really do love Miz. But, this is exactly what should have happened. And I was talking to you guys before the show. I just want to share with the fans that I'm sure I'm not by myself in this opinion here. It's not some crazy epiphany, but I was making the joke, like WWE is patting themselves on the back for like this. We discovered this young up and comer Bobby Lashley. It's like he's been there for years. He's been ready for years, plural, many years. He's been ready. Happy to see him finally get here and get this opportunity. But again, he's been ready. He's not learned some new skill set that they've taught him in the last 2 years or 3 years. He's been ready since he came back from Impact, quite frankly. And I will argue when he was with Impact, he was cutting the best promos of his career. Go back and watch him, guys. I know you like to make fun of Impact, blah, 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 blah. But I'm telling you, when he was there, go back and watch those promos. They were very good. And he was with MVP. A lot of what they did there, they're kind of doing here. The Beatdown Club, how it is kind of similar. Yeah. When you think about it, the Beatdown Clubs, it had Samoa Joe, Loki, and Kenny from My Tough Enough season.
Right, Kenny King.
Kenny King, thank you. And him, and it was a very good stable. But Bobby was a very dominating champion there, and I think he should be a dominating champion here. I know everyone wants to see Drew win the title again in front of fans, and that's great, but I'm sorry, the bigger money is in Bobby Lashley, a nice, lengthy title run. He's as believable as they get as a world heavyweight champion.
And they changed up his entrance tonight. You saw that with the video and the lightning bolts and everything. It was super cool. Like, it just gave off a huge star vibe.
There's certain talents, you guys, I think you'll agree. Brian Cage is another one, and we saw at last night's pay-per-view. When you give them that sizzle, there's certain entertainers that can make more with it, and it works. Brock Lesnar's another one. Mm-hmm. When you do like these kind of like videos, or in this case tonight with Bobby's entrance, there's a little wrinkle to it. It adds so much more because of how their physical. What's the word I'm looking for? Their physical charisma they have that other stars do not have.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I think so. From here, it's going to be Bobby versus Drew at WrestleMania with Drew versus Sheamus, last man standing at Fastlane.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they do with Bobby at Fastlane. I guess they could do Miz and Morrison in a handicap match if they wanted to. But
there you go.
Yeah, we've talked about it on here. It definitely seems like it's designed to have Drew beat Bobby in front of fans, and get his big title win in front of fans. But to your point, Matt, he's on a roll, and I just feel like maybe this is one of those times to call an audible and have Lashley win and have a lengthy reign and then get to Drew again later.
It is. Now, here's my only thing. It's Vince McMahon. It's WrestleMania. 2 world champion heels retaining at Mania. He can't resist. I wish he could. But I don't think he can. He's not disciplined enough. I can't believe I'm saying that about the $1 billion genius. Like, who the hell am I? I don't have my own company. But you know what I mean,
though? Point. Yeah. I mean, because WrestleMania is usually that happy ending at the end. And granted, there are some exceptions, obviously, over the years. But for the most part, it's a coronation or your top babyface with the big win. And so I definitely see your points. Having 2 nights where the heel goes over, unless, again, you end one night with like Sasha and Bianca, which I think should
has
be.
To end. That's how I would end it for sure.
Yeah.
For multiple reasons.
Yeah.
Because that, in my opinion, is the best feel-good story they have an opportunity to tell with that babyface winning.
Absolutely.
I mean, looking at it though, right now, I think Drew becoming champ again is actually a step down from where Bobby is at right now. I think with Drew, he's very good.
Yeah.
He's great in the ring, but I don't think we ever really got a character out of him that connected.
And it's tough because he never had the fans in front of him. I will defend him on that because I think he was going to get there, and he was showing the signs of it. He was super over. We eliminated Brock. Holy crap, he was made right there.
Yeah.
And I think the poor guy never got an opportunity to wrestle in front of fans as this champion, this believable champion, quite frankly. He's another one that's believable.
Oh, sure.
It's just, who's to say? We never got a real chance. He never got a real chance to do it in front of live fans. So we really don't know.
I'll tell you though, man, looking back on Drew's run, and he's had some good moments, but the best moment I think he had in terms of character and really making you just get a reaction like, oh, that guy. And it was when he was a heel, when he pulled that thing with Heath Slater of, oh, hey, Heath, times are hard. I know you got kids. You need an opportunity. You need a little more money. You need this. And he just like savagely beat the crap out of him backstage. That was probably the most striking moment that he's had. I feel there's a face he still hasn't quite cut that promo yet, that you really just buy in and believe. Because a guy like that's never the underdog.
With Lashley, you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Bobby he is because he's jacked, but
yeah. Real quick. NYC Demon Diva saying Eddie Kingston needs to just come out on Wednesday and say he passed out from secondhand embarrassment. That would
how long did that take? That's really good. Did you steal that? That's really good. That's very well played. She's hilarious for the record.
Yes. Jack Collins saying I tweeted LeBar saying they should have blew up the ring at the start of Raw and called it a night as a joke, but now I wish they did. Chris Pantaleo saying poor Shane still out of breath from helping Kenny.
Hey, Chris Pantaleo, I just want to say thank you. He's another one that comes on my political page and likes all my posts and makes nice comments about my family. Thank you, Chris.
No,
nice
absolutely.
Finally, Paul Perry. It doesn't matter who wins the main events at Mania, as long as Kenny Omega is in charge of building the ring, the set, and the fire.
The WrestleMania set. Oh, this is great. This is great.
So we went from Bobby and his first successful title defense, Drew cutting a promo backstage, Sheamus unloading on Drew and brawling around, saying he's tired of living in Drew's shadow. And then we saw a recap of what's been happening with Braun and Shane McMahon, Strowman backstage with R-Truth comedic gold as always. But then Strowman comes out to the ring and addresses Shane McMahon. This thing about stupid, this to me felt, I'm going to say it, this felt more forced with Braun and the stupid thing than Marty McFly and the chicken thing and Back to the Future 2 and 3. This just felt very wedged in. Very manufactured.
It was. No. He was reading a script. No question. You're right.
And it just doesn't make sense. Braun shouldn't give a shit what you think about his intelligence.
Right. Nobody calls me chicken. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what it felt like, I mean, I don't know. And then Shane, I mean, Matt, I have to admit, when he did the stutter thing, I was like, where's this going for a second? But Shane and the way that he, like, it didn't quite land. The comedy they were using where he was saying, I'm not calling you stupid. I'm not saying this. Like, they didn't, that could have been, on paper, that was a lot funnier than it came out the way that he was doing those insults, trying to make them not sound like insults.
It was weird. Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
Am I being too much of a wimp here, maybe? But like, doesn't this go against Be a Star stuff and other. Am I being a wimp about it? Tell me. You guys could tell me if I'm being soft.
Snowflake Matt Morgan.
If I am, you guys can attack me with it. I'm asking the question, though. I'm putting it out there.
I mean, I think wrestling in general is just counter to the Be a Star initiative. You just got to kind of be like,
you've got to get
they're acting here, but
Okay.
And we've seen that Otis got was the butt of a lot of fat jokes. I think the Be a Star thing is not an edict in WWE programming.
Just the word
they had Nia and Shayna making fun of each other's appearances,
Yeah.
But the word stupid though, it's often misused for those that can't control because they have maybe they have different types of special needs. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like
true.
I said, I'm a dad of a special needs kid, so I'm definitely reading this through a very myopic, a very, very tiny lens, to be fair. So, like I said, I could be totally overanalyzing this, and you guys got to call me out.
No, I think that's fair. Although, I mean, honestly, dude, 20 years ago, I think the language would have been a lot worse than just reprehensible.
Remember the playground? Oh my God, the words you'd say.
Yeah. So I definitely see your point, but yeah, I'm thinking Alexa bullied Nia about her weight. Like Alexa did running campaign.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like vicious. So I agree, Matt. Like they definitely go far with this, but that's part of the thing. I mean, you couldn't have. Yeah. How can you be a kind heel?
You're supposed to put real life. I'm answering my own question, actually. Yeah, you're supposed to put real life things, if you will, into play here. And if the more real you can make it, will make people really believe you're this big of an a-hole for making fun of somebody like this. That should be the intent, to get them to hate your guts and hope you die as the heel. And then the babyface overcomes this, and everybody gets their yay moment out of it.
And that by that token, I think they're actually kind of more often than not kind of tame in the way that they try and get heat. Like that's why I was saying the Drew thing with Heath, like that was legit, like messed up. But in a good, very heelish way. So I agree with you, Matt, to an extent, but I think that if they start taking that into account, like I don't know what they would do week in and week out for stories.
Yeah. Stellar Justin Lopez bringing up a good point. They're recycling the Big Show and Shane angle from 20 years ago when Shane was doing. Where did you go? Which way did you go?
Yes. I just as soon as he said that, now I remember it. Yeah, he's right.
I'd forgotten about that too. Yeah, totally. And Jax Collins with $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Jax. Real quick, guys, honestly, does this feel like Mania season? I'm excited for one match so far. Otherwise, I got nothing but maybe a return of Bray.
No, it does not feel like Mania. No.
Well, part of that's because they got Fastlane. Yeah, I mean, it kind of is a speed bump, Like, you can't start really putting the hard build.
So, okay, the build for Sasha and Bianca feels Mania for me. That feels very Mania-ish.
I think without Reginald now, it's going to be way better because I thought Reginald was watering it down.
I'm going back to the night that Bianca won.
Yeah.
From that moment on, you always get that sensation of, okay, so this is the next big thing. This is the one that's going to be the next big deal in this company, the next world champion. This is going to be cool to watch evolve. Till we get to Mania. Then finally the cherry on the top is he or she wins, right? But that's the only one I've gotten this from. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
So Chris Benleo pointed this out, saying Shane's talking is off, talks very low and no energy. That was the funny thing tonight. Braun sounded more articulate and better spoken than Shane did. It completely negated the point.
# low energy Shane.
And man, some things like the microphone is like 3 feet away from his face, and you could hear his breathing, like in stereo. It's like the whole time. It was so distracting to me.
It was.
Sean Wiley, $5 saying, could you see an alliance with the Fiend and Randy Orton? I really think Omos is going to end up with the Hurt Business as their enforcer. If we get Bray and Randy Orton again, I'm stopping to watch whatever show they're on, because that was really rough when it happened before.
Yeah, we don't need to see that anymore. Omos is where he needs to be. He's learning so much, you guys. I wish they were able to do house shows, because I promise you he would quintuple his improvement from being on the road AJ would probably let him ride with him, where he'd school him on these car rides, like a lot of veterans do with the younger person that's working with them. And then on top of it, being at ringside 4 nights a week, watching the best in action and learning.
Yeah.
So I feel bad for that reason. There's no live events for him to continue his pace of his curve of learning, but he's with the right person right now if you want him to continue to learn.
Okay. Paul, thank you for the super chat, but we don't do political messages, but taking a shot about how Shane is on the mic.
Michael the Virus saying Shane getting blown up by having a 5-word 5-minute segment. It was rough, man. Jody Shaw Jenkins, Canadian $5. Speaking of Mania season, I really hope they have something good for Apollo. He has really something right now. I would love to see him on Raw.
It is interesting that just changing his presentation up a little bit. I'm not sure about the spear, but with the scarf and everything, he just looks like a star now. Like in like 3 weeks, he's just. I think they've done a good job with him.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Hey, let's take a moment to thank the sponsor of this episode, which is Stereo. So if you ever watch this Wrestling Inc. podcast and you scream your opinions into the abyss, just hoping we can hear you, you send a super chat, but you say that's not enough. You must hear my voice. You must hear my passion. You must hear my emotion. Well, Stereo is the app for you, because we go live on Stereo once a week, myself and Matt Morgan, and you can ask us questions directly on the app. You hit the microphone button, you record your message, we play them during the show. We have our live kind of an after party exclusively on Stereo. Usually we've been doing it on Monday. We did it Friday last week. This week we're going to do one. We have not announced the date or time yet, but what we want you to do is download the Stereo app. It's available for iOS or Android. Check it out. There are tons of great conversations on there, and you can host your own, listen to others, participate, ask questions. And if you go on there and you download that app and you follow Glenn Rubenstein, stereo.com/Glenn Rubenstein, and stereo.com/Matt Morgan, you'll be notified when we go live later this week for our special edition of the after show, as it were. And NYC Demon Diva, Issa, has been doing chats on Stereo as well, so be sure to give her a follow. You'll be notified when she goes live. We've been having such a good time on Stereo. Friday night, Matt and I, God, we were on there for what, Matt? Like 2 hours, just talking with the folks.
It's the
chopping
best.
it up. It's really good.
It's the best. We get in some really, really cool conversations that you never expect us to get into. And again, I say it. I'm the one who started saying this because it's the truth. You all drive the show. We don't have any skeleton type of structure of how we're going to go with our shows. That's not how we are. That's not what our best attributes work hand in hand together. Me and Glenn both. We work best together, playing off of you guys, of what you guys want to talk about, and nothing's off limits. That's what makes this show different than any other show.
Absolutely. Last week, we've been talking about diet and exercise a lot, but we were talking about grief last week. We've been talking about motivation. We've been talking about hip hop quite a bit, about television. It's been a really, really great show. So download that Stereo app, follow Matt Morgan, follow Glenn Rubenstein, follow NYC Demon Diva, and you'll be notified when we go live this week for our special edition of the after show, as it were. And we thank Stereo for sponsoring the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Terry Allen Jr. saying Raw recap videos during the shows are unnecessary. Tonight, they seemed a little more obnoxious than usual.
What did?
The recap videos during Raw. Check out what happened just moments ago on the show, earlier tonight.
It's filler. It's the kill time when they go longer.
There is a happy medium where you do it. It did feel like, because they recapped Bobby Lashley's entrance, which was awesome. But, that's something you don't really need to recap, is the full entrance. But, yeah.
Paul Perry, $5, saying, be careful, Matt. I hear the fumes from Jacksonville last night are about to reach Longwood. So, back to the show tonight. No DQ match. Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre. This could have been a pay-per-view match. I'm curious to see how they top this at Fastlane.
It was a good match, but nobody cares. Did anybody really care?
I mean, that is the problem, is they haven't presented Sheamus as Drew's equal, for months now. He loses a lot, so it's hard to, if you're just into action, this was a really strong match. But to Matt's point, when there's no stakes, it doesn't really matter. that does take away from it.
Right?
It's unfortunate. Because
I'm assuming their match at Fastlane will probably be the winner gets
Bobby.
Lashley. So it'll have a stip, I would guess.
who's Bobby going to face to Fastlane?
I don't know. That's why I was saying maybe Miz and Morrison.
Oh, handicap?
Yeah, like a handicap match. They did that with Braun last summer, but it's kind of a throwaway pay-per-view anyway.
Mr. Botsky, $5, saying, still wish the Blueprint was a surprise debut. I saw you at a house show in Mankato, Minnesota. You're friggin' huge, LOL. Speaking of which, Matt, that video you posted in the gym the other day with that therapy appliance, it was like, man, you're it's amazing to think that with your bodybuilding competition, you're going to be even more jacked than you already are.
It's the secret is you just get skinnier, honestly, folks. It makes you more vascular, more cut. So in pictures and videos, you look bigger. But if you saw me in life, like, geez, look at Skeletor over here. You know what I mean? But that's what you have to do to get in shape, the conditioning.
Speaking of Skeletor, I have to ask, did you watch the Masters of the Universe documentary?
Love it. Love it.
Where is
I've
that?
probably watched it 3 nights in a row to put me to bed. Not because it's boring, but because I like watching it.
It's on Netflix, Raj. It's called The Power of Grayskull.
Wow, I have not heard of this. I got to check that out.
It really is worth it. It's so good. They go into pretty cool detail about a lot of stuff that I was not privy to as a little kid.
True story. When I was a kid, I Bubble Yum, they had this contest where you could win the entire Masters of the Universe collection. And I won. And I got the You Won wrapper. And I gave it to my parents, and I think they probably thought it was bullshit or it wasn't real. And they never mailed it.
What?
So you would have every figure?
Yeah, you'd have every figure, the castle, everything. And I would every day I'd come home hoping for a giant box on the porch.
Oh my God. I would never forgive my parents for that.
Yeah,
Mr. and Mrs. Gary, shame.
Oh my God. Like, and when was this in the life cycle of He-Man? Because there were like 200 toys by the end there.
This was probably like 85, 84.
Okay, so yeah, that would have been good.
Yeah. This is probably their first one, you know what I mean? Beast or Evil Lynn. Sorry, Beast Man. Evil Lynn, Cyclops.
Yeah.
Oh man. But that castle and the castle.
Yeah, the castle alone.
Castle was awesome. The microphone thing was awesome.
Yeah.
Love He-Man.
Anyway.
I'm thinking the Horde Pit. I'm thinking the Evil Horde Pit with a microphone. Correction.
We're just Masters of the Universe podcast at this point. So
such a great
Nathaniel Cook, $4.99, saying last year this time Randy Orton was arguably the most over superstar. Now he's stuck doing this crap. Love the podcast.
It's true. Him and Edge, they were killing it last year at this point.
Love his comments.
T. Smitty 3000, $5, saying, do you believe the live fans could turn on Drew if Vince has him go over Lashley at Mania? You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Possibly. Because the fans have been along for the ride. We're not like the originators of, hey, push Bobby Lashley, WWE. Like, everybody, I think, has thought this in the back of their head. Like, what the hell's taking them so long? Don't they see what they have in this guy? Right? So I think because we've all been on that journey waiting forever for them to finally give him his chance. Yeah, I think there is a potential of that.
Yeah. I have to say, Matt, you are day one. I think the day Bobby came back, if you go back to this podcast, Matt Morgan was saying this guy needs to be in the picture for the heavyweight championship.
Well, like Nostradamus for this, like this is the most.
People were saying, Raj was saying, he could go against Brock. That'd be like a good, credible opponent for Brock. You were saying that. But I think, Matt, your ceiling on Bobby, like you got in on that stock ground floor,
Because he's different than everybody. He's the most realistic looking guy there.
Yeah. Well, that first storyline they put him on with Sami Zayn didn't help. Sorry, Raj, you go.
I gotta say, I was in on Lashley 16 years ago during his first, like when he had that pay-per-view main event feud with John Cena. I remember thinking, like, they should probably have Lashley go over here. I mean, the dude, he was young, he was, up and comer, and he was awesome.
Yes, he's not changed his look. Yes, yeah. But he has improved to be able to carry himself on the stick if they put him in that situation now.
Yeah. So I don't know if they're going to turn on him at WrestleMania just because it's going to be a lot of locals at WrestleMania. It's going to be almost like a house show audience as opposed to all the international fans.
Right. They're going to go along with everything.
Right. I can see them just going along. They're just happy to be there.
I think as good as Lashley is now, it would be better if Leo Rush was back as a sideman.
No, MVP's awesome.
Why not both?
Yeah.
Let's see Leo Rush in a wrestling role doing his shit talking.
I agree.
At the same time as wrestling.
Right.
Yeah. He's been doing indie dates, right?
Yeah, and he did stuff with MLW.
He's so good. He is so
He
damn
is.
good.
Chris Pantaleo saying, I thought Matt would show up as Kenny's blueprint. The AEW.
Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega joke. I missed it. Went over my head. Chris, you see that? This is what happens when you put people over. I put him over, and then look what he does.
I need a soundboard, and it needs to have Matt's laugh there, so I can just hit that on cue. I want to make a joke he doesn't quite catch. So backstage, AJ with Omos calling out Randy Orton, setting up their match for the later in the night, and then Xavier Woods versus Shelton Benjamin.
I do got to say this: when Omos does wrestle, he should watch that Shaq match because they did that pretty well. I thought with just how Shaq worked like the Giant, didn't have to do too much, just picked his spots, and yeah.
One small critique that I did not like is Shaq did not step over the top rope.
Oh yeah.
Like, dude almost tripped rolling in through the second rope.
Right.
Like, he's huge. He doesn't even need to push the top rope down to step over like the rest of us do. He can just, literally step over with no hands on the ropes or anything.
Yeah.
Just giant stuff, right? That makes you look all the more impressive. He's huge. Huge. He is enormous.
He looked like 9 feet tall in that match.
Yes. Yeah. And pretty jacked for the record.
Oh yeah, no, I thought Shaq. I mean, he blew away my expectations.
Yeah, me too.
Lots of Rhea Ripley coming soon promos tonight.
Good, all for it.
I still think she should be a heel, just with how badly they used her last year. She's, like we've said it, she's a star, and I don't want to see her misused again.
Me neither. Wait, time out. You don't think she'll be brought back as a heel?
I don't know. I mean, she's been a babyface for a while now, so I could see her just keeping her as a babyface because that's what she's been.
No. But if they do that, she will be lost in the shuffle. No, she's got to be a heel.
Yeah.
So let's see. We got another super chat. Mr. Botsky, $2. Lashley needs to go over. Hurt Business is gold.
I hope they don't have the Hurt Business lose the tag team championships next week because they're doing that match with the New Day. Because they look so cool as a group with all of them having gold.
They really do. Yeah.
So let's see what happened after that. Xavier Woods versus Shelton Benjamin. Xavier Woods picking up the win. I'm assuming Hurt Business versus New Day at Fastlane?
No, it's next week.
Oh, next week. Interesting. Yeah. But Matt Riddle backstage. Matt Riddle cutting a promo about his match with Slapjack. Matt Riddle versus Slapjack. Matt Riddle winning over Slapjack.
And Slapjack's not a chump or anything like that. It's just this name is just I can't get past it.
Yeah, the presentation of him, it's just too goofy. But they actually had a good match, and Riddle actually always has good matches. But his character is just once he does those promos backstage, I just want to see him get his ass kicked, and he's the babyface.
Yep. Counterproductive. You're 100% right. His character is so counterproductive for what they're trying to get from him.
Yeah.
It's rough. It's very rough. But Slapjack, Matt, could you imagine if that was the moniker they gave you?
I probably would have, you know what? I didn't want to be Matt Morgan. I remember no, I'm telling my wife, my name sucks. It's so boring. Was Mike Smith taken? I was making fun of them using my real name. Thank God, because I got to keep it.
Yeah.
Right? But, you know how it is. You don't like your voice. You don't like your name. I think everybody thinks that way about themselves. Wrestlers do. But, so I probably, the Masked Marauder, I always joked and said, or something lame like that. I always wanted, the Missing Link, some wrestling name. I always wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Matt, did they ever call you Eminem because you with the 2 M's?
No.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity.
Not even backstage or anything? No.
No.
Double M. All right.
Goof. Hey, Goof. No, I don't know.
It's how I talk to my cats. That's how they talk to Matt backstage.
Triple H. I don't know. Anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stellar Justin Lopez, $4.99, saying, I think Lashley debuted in 05 after some OVW talents were visiting backstage. Vince saw him and said, get him on TV tonight.
That's a true story.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think Bruce Pritchard has told that story before, where, or maybe it was Jim Cornette, but yeah, Vince was like, "Let's get him on TV," and everyone was like, we should slow him down because he's not ready yet.
I was up when that happened. It's true. I mean, that's not like of course he'd say that. Duh.
Right. Jackson Collins with the real question: do you feel Lashley should break away from the Hurt Business now?
No, not now. No.
He's on a roll. The whole package just works. He just comes across as a superstar right now.
Krana Shot, $2, saying, love the Scorpion Sub-Zero gear from the New Day.
I did too, actually.
Well, it's good, but I mean, come on, Macho Man Super Mario Brothers reference. I think it's the best.
Huh?
Nothing. This point you made, Raj. It's your joke that I've stolen and run into the ground, where every time a talent does a video game thing, you think, remember how cool it was back in the day when Ultimate Warrior did an Akari Warriors reference?
Gotcha. All right,
Akari Warriors.
I thought you said Macho Man really did that. I was about to lose my mind. No, that just takes away so many cool points, but thank God.
Michael Loretta, $5. You think AEW should just sign Tessa Blanchard? Love the show.
I don't know what her story is. What's her deal? Didn't she get all this heat? People like hate her or something?
She's got heat. But I mean, from a talent standpoint, absolutely. I mean, we talk about this all the time with AEW. I want to see the women, in the main event picture and elevated. And I think Tessa is someone that just comes in and brings in that credibility.
Definitely. Talent-wise, yeah.
Grado Meister, Riddle's feet bother me. You and me both. Since day one. Even in NXT when I disliked him less. Paul Perry, $5. Slapjack, the worst character in the history of history.
Did you watch wrestling in the mid-90s?
Yeah,
TL Hopper and the Goon and
what about the one that was like the half
Mantar?
Cornette? Mantar. That's a pretty bad guy.
And there was that a magician guy, Phantasmo or something like that, who would like spring...
I wrestled him in Puerto Rico.
Ah, wow.
I swear to God. I was pretty excited.
Yeah,
because he was already part of Wrestle Crap at that point.
That was pretty sweet. Action Jackson bringing a Bastion Booger. Yeah.
So Riddle won that, and then we had Shane and Braun Part 2, and this was the one where he was really leaning into Braun Stupid. And, Matt, I have to say it's funny because when he did the stutter thing, I was like, that actually seemed like the most bullying thing, like sort of making fun of that, like probably even more so than insulting his intelligence. That just seemed really... But again, like this whole segment wasn't funny. This could have been clever, but this was just lame.
Lazy. Just lazy. Lazy.
Well, they're trying to
make by numbers.
Yeah. I mean, to your point, I thought this was the worst segment that Shane's ever been in. It just went forever, and I think that it was meant to. It was supposed to get you annoyed with Shane since he's the heel in this, but good God, it just dragged on. It felt like Shane just forgot all his lines, is what it actually looked like when you're watching it.
Well, it's one of those deals where Shane doesn't have to do anything he doesn't want to do, so I can't imagine him being part of something he doesn't want to be a part of. But with that said, judging off of his performance, I didn't feel like he really wants to be a part of this.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Nathaniel Cook, $1.99, saying Omos should win the U.S. title in his first match at Mania.
Where's all this Omos love coming from? I like it. Don't get me wrong.
Hey, if it means beating Matt Riddle, I'm all for it.
I feel like we've got to
take our time with him, guys. Trust me when I tell you all. You want them to take their time with him.
Look at how they built Braun when he first came in. That was smart. They just squash matches, get a little better every week, and just build him up slowly. You don't want to, have him in a long match right off the bat when we don't even know what he could do yet.
And technically, Braun was very lucky in that scenario because he came already up with the Wyatt family, and then sat out for like a hot minute after the Bray Wyatt was the Wyatt family was disbanded, and then he started to get this push, this monster push of each week a squash match, essentially, right? Him and Nia Jax both were doing them on the same episodes, actually. Same build. They both worked amazingly well for both talents. But normally it's when you first get called up, and then you start to get those squash match wins. So Braun's lucky he was able to re-cement himself, get all over. That's the difference, though, right? Isn't that the difference of when you look different than everybody else, and you're bigger than everybody else? You get those opportunities sometimes more than the average-sized talent will.
Right. I mean,
Deservedly so.
Yeah.
So, Sean Wiley, $5 saying, "Ultimate bummer, Raj. I feel so sorry for you. Happy belated birthday, Glenn. Rhea Ripley to the Hurt Business. Sister Sherry worked for Harlem Heat." There's a lot. This punctuation would really, really help. Sean, we thank you for the money, but like some commas, even a semicolon.
Yeah. Well, I think he's referring for me of the He-Man stuff, which.
Oh yeah, dude. I'd be in therapy about that still if I were you.
Yes, especially if we're coming home expecting to see a box every day. That would wow.
Yeah. And I think the only I'm sorry, Matt.
When was your birthday?
March 2nd, so a week ago.
Happy birthday, jeez.
Ah, your birthday is the same day as my wife.
Oh, nice. 45 now. Crazy. And Matt is the youngest person on this panel, believe it or not. That's the crazier part.
That is crazy to me. Jeez.
So everyone, Raj needs your help. Your super chats are going to go to Raj reassembling a complete collection of He-Man memorabilia so he can heal this childhood wound that has just been gnawing at him for 30 plus years now.
Yeah. No,
I mean, guys, that's the stuff you'd see on the back of a magazine. Like, and you wouldn't even enter it because you have no shot in hell of winning it.
Yeah.
And he won it. Like, seriously, this would mind F the hell out of me as a kid.
Oh, man. When I remember opening that bubble yum and seeing that, and I mean, it was probably the most excited I'd ever been up until that point in my life.
Yeah.
It was.
I bet.
What if you found out they cashed it in, they got it, and then you misbehaved, and they were like, "We just decided not to give it to you."
But now you're old enough. Here you go. We've kept it.
Mr. Bosky, $2. What did they do with Almost First Destroy? AJ.
No. I think tag team with AJ. See.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. You keep the same blueprint, pun intended. No, pun unintended. Like Shawn Michaels and Diesel did. Yeah. Why not just follow that same path?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, where are we? Women's tag team title match: Lana and Naomi versus Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. This match went on for a good bit. Naomi looked really good. Lana did okay. But we knew Nia and Shayna were winning, and Nia is the sommelier in tow. She is now taking custody of the sommelier.
Good. Gets him out of the main event. Fine by me.
Exactly. Gets him out of Sasha and Bianca, so that's fine by me too.
Yeah. I hope they give Naomi and Lana something more from here. I feel that, I don't know.
Do you buy them as a tag team, though? See, I don't buy them as a tag team. I buy that as, like, we've got to get, one of the two of these women on TV every week because she's incredible. And we've continuously held her down as a singles talent for whatever rhyme or reason. I still can't figure out. I'm speaking of Naomi, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's just a dumb makeshift tag team that there's no real... What's my emotional investment in them as a team, though?
And Lana, I think, has improved, but if they break up, I mean, Naomi just needs to beat Lana, like, decisively and then move on to something better.
She's such a great baby face, though, Naomi. I don't know.
It just felt like this was the blow-off. I mean, they kind of just... Like, I thought they were going to do a match at Fastlane, but...
Yeah,
they just kind of ended it.
I liked Jack scooping up Reginald, carrying him off to safety after the match. Randy Orton backstage, cutting a promo on AJ. We got the second coming soon vignette for Rhea Ripley. Sarah backstage with Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. So what was with this? They're saying they deserve title shots. Yeah.
The second coming vignette was really good right there, by the way. I just want to point out. Sorry.
But I think they're also not picking a side. I could see them going either direction based on how they're building her up. So what was this with Charlotte and giving like Dana and Mandy pep talk here?
Raj?
I think it's just to build opponents for Charlotte because she's going to be facing Shayna at WrestleMania. So, so you get her beating Mandy Rose one week, Dana Brooke,
You don't think that's weird? Like, didn't you think she'd be in a much bigger match?
Who? Charlotte?
Yeah.
Yeah, with Lacey. That was supposed to be the match. Then.
Oh yeah, duh. Yeah.
I mean, Asuka, if they treated her properly and treated the title properly, that is a big match. But
it is. It would be. But it just feels like a foregone conclusion.
Yeah.
Put the title on Charlotte again. Mm-hmm. And I usually don't like everybody that comes and starts burying it and saying, oh, she gets preferential treatment. She always wins. How boring. I will admit, if she wins this, I will agree. I think, but they don't. But my problem with it though is this: I'm like, like going against my own thought here as I'm saying it to you guys, because they're not going to do the right thing with Asuka. So if Asuka wins, they're not going to continue to push her and have her beat all these other top level talents either. They've got her where they need her to be, and that is the B to the Charlotte Flairs, Sasha Banks, now Bianca Belair, and companies. A, if you will, as it were. Did I say that right, Glenn?
I'll allow it. So Stellar Justin Lopez $4.99 saying it was pretty bad, but did you guys I'm assuming you say see Dolph Lundgren C-Man movie? Frank Langella killed it as Skeletor.
You cut me off with that crap when I was asking you a legitimate question.
Oh wait, the As It Were thing? Yeah, that was good.
No, comparing the A to their B, I'm saying. Like Asuka's treated as a level B to their level A's.
Oh, except...
And she's stuck there. Even as champion, she's a level B to them.
Yeah, I mean, when was the last time she defended her title on a pay-per-view? They haven't booked her for a pay-per-view since October.
So her beating Charlotte would only be good for me if they then said, okay, we're really going to give her the ball to run with a little bit more. We're going to bump her up to that A category now. Yeah. Then I'd be for it, but I don't know.
Because Asuka, if anyone should be an A, it's Asuka.
But
you think so?
Yeah.
That's where Asuka being defeated for the championship by Rhea Ripley is the smartest way to use Asuka right now, because Charlotte beating her means nothing. It just means Charlotte's the champ again, and then you do with that what you will. If Rhea beats her, that's a big deal.
Okay. So you're saying after Mania?
No, I think at Mania, Rhea beats Asuka.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
In fact, you want a really good way to do it. They won't do this because they need Charlotte and something at Mania, but maybe you have Rhea beat down Charlotte and take Charlotte off TV for a couple weeks, and that way you can set up Rhea Charlotte with Rhea as the champ, but Rhea needs to win.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Yeah, Rhea does need to win, but then what do you do with Asuka? Asuka should have something at Mania.
I think Asuka in the tag picture is great. I think they've never given her a great storyline.
Yeah.
You could say that about most of the women, though.
Women get
you could say that about most of the wrestlers.
The women get... Dude, we rave about the women's storyline, especially on NXT. What do you mean?
In NXT.
On NXT.
That's not the main roster, though.
I mean, Bayley versus Sasha outside of that, like a really strong... one that feels like a main event. We'll see with Sasha and Bianca.
Like the tag team tonight's a great example. That's a weak storyline.
Yeah.
Becky versus Charlotte, great. Becky versus Ronda worked really well and how they said that. But a lot of times it's just kind of, I don't know, there's no stakes. Or the stakes are, I mean, for Charlotte beating Asuka, the stakes were Asuka's undefeated. Charlotte's going to
They did a couple of awesome angles with Becky and Ronda, like when they were in that cop car and they were like trying to kick it out, kick it open and get out.
Yeah.
So Justin Lopez's question: the He-Man movie. I mean, we've all seen it.
I haven't seen it.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I heard it was so bad from all my friends that I never saw it.
It was, but as a fan, you have to see it.
Yeah.
And they got Frank Langella as Skeletor. Frank Langella, a serious actor, did this because his son was a huge He-Man fan. So he did.
I never knew that.
Yeah. It's Z $5. So, Matt, please sign a one-day WWE contract. Join the conga line. Deliver a elevator to Bad Bunny. Take the 24/7 title and destroy it live on the podcast.
That was funny. That would be pretty funny. Destroy elevator. Bad, but I would like to.
Zuckanigma, $1.99, saying Becky Lynch will be back. When do you think she'll be back?
When? Do we know?
No. I mean, she just had the baby in December, right? And
February, March. Yeah.
You know what's great?
6 months. I think 8 months.
And also during a pandemic, I don't know.
I mean, because that's crazy that he's right. Like, I forgot about Becky Lynch. I can't believe I'm saying that.
Yeah.
It is funny to watch a lot of male wrestling fans and wrestling personalities try to calculate what they think is the appropriate amount of time between when you can give birth and then wrestle again. I do get a kick. I don't know what it is.
I was calculating how long she's been out for.
No, I know. I'm not saying you, Matt. I'm saying fans, because I see online speculation and people were saying like she could be back at the Rumble, and I'm like, I don't think you understand. Like, I don't have the best grasp of it, but that's not possible. I don't know.
Maurice came back in it was 3 months or something. Like, it was.
I remember specifically looking to Larissa and going, how did she just do this?
Yeah.
How is she doing this?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I just found out how babies were made. I mean, how they're delivered, still a mystery to me. Jackson Callan, $4.99. We got not much to work off of, but see any surprise returns, setting up feuds post-Mania.
I don't see any surprise returns for a match. I just feel like if Brock was coming, I don't know. Yeah. It's a month away, a little over a month away. You would have had him on TV by now. Cena, maybe he does a swerve and appears, but I don't see him doing a match either. If anything, it'd probably be something like, a comedy thing with Elias. I don't really see any. And who else is there? Goldberg, I guess.
I still think we'll. I know you don't agree with me, but I still think we'll see Rock versus Roman eventually.
Yeah. In 2 years they're in LA, but Rock is going to be that much older when they are.
Yeah.
Mr. Botsky saying at Mania he wants to see a 3-way match between Rhea, Asuka, and Charlotte.
That's what Glenn you were saying.
Well, I think I don't think Charlotte has to be in that match. I think you do Rhea versus Asuka, and then Rhea
Charlotte isn't just going to hang out.
I don't know.
What do you think? She's going to be sitting backstage at Gorilla with no match? Hell no.
I know.
See Charlotte Flair. She'll be on the card. Yeah.
I don't know where this came. This is Monopoly Man, $5. Off topic, a good show to watch during quarantine is NYPD Blue. Check it out on TV, the Heroes Not Cons TV channel, and Hulu. Best cop show of all time.
Thank you, Dennis Franz. Wasn't that the guy's name, Dennis Franz?
Yeah. The Wire is still the best.
I remember when the celebrities were getting really bad for WrestleMania, and there was that year they had the guy from NYPD Blue, the kid from Home Improvement.
I'll never forget it.
Yes.
It was so really bad. They did vignettes with him. Do you remember the guy from that show? Yeah, not the kid, but
Nicholas.
Yes. Yeah. Nicholas something. Oh God.
Couldn't even get JTT.
Who's JTT?
That's who he's talking about.
Or Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Jonathan Taylor Thomas was a get in the early 90s.
Yes, he was, but he was a kid. He just kind of sat there, right? It was kind of like years before that, actually, ironically. Who was Eric Bischoff's guy? Hervey.
Jason Harvey, yeah.
Jason Hervey from Wonder Years was, you know, mulling around the area and judging matches at WCW.
I remember I interviewed him one time, and then after I was done, I was like, oh my God, I didn't ask him about Back to the Future because he's in that movie.
That's
it's
right.
like the first time I've interviewed someone that was in Back to the Future, which is my favorite movie of all time.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure. He was in that too.
Oh, was he?
Oh yeah, he plays the bratty actor on set, kid
That's
actor.
right.
Yeah.
I need to watch that again all the way through. I haven't seen that in a long time.
When I say roll, you better roll. You remember that?
No, I remember. I just haven't seen it in a while.
It was the scene to show you what a Pee-wee nerd I am. It transitions right from that to the Twisted Sister scene.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Mr. Botsky, $5 saying Asuka takes the pin, sets up Rhea versus Charlotte for SummerSlam. Not like they're treating Asuka great anyways.
Yeah.
Hopefully 3 are going over.
But Rhea should win. Otherwise, I think it would feel like a repeat of last year.
Yes.
So the main event, AJ Styles versus Randy Orton, a match we've seen before, a match we saw tonight.
I can't believe I'm saying ugh to that. This is Randy Orton versus freaking AJ Styles. You know what I mean?
It was a WrestleMania match, right? Am I remembering correctly?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
It was.
Like 2 years ago.
But just, I don't know.
Yeah, same here. I couldn't get into it. And I part of it, I knew the magic was coming. So, and yeah, him puking that chocolate or that tar or whatever that is.
He tried to put it. I follow him on Instagram. Alex, he puts a lot of family posts up there, and he was doing one with his whole family, and he tried to even sell the black crap he had coming out of his face. It's pretty funny. But what do you do? It's such gaga. I agree.
Yeah.
So, yes, Alexa Bliss shows up on the screen. She's got a jack-in-the-box with a pentagram on it saying not yet for Bray Wyatt. She blows out a match, and then as she does that, the ring posts catch on fire. Then Randy Orton doubles over, and black stuff starts coming out of his mouth.
Yeah. One of the ring posts didn't catch on fire.
Oh, so. Only 3 out of the 4?
Yeah.
That's weird.
More technical difficulties.
I heard that was a shout out to AEW. A little tip of the cap.
This was what it was. It was okay. But, man, it's like the show just really dragged up to
It did point. Because you're supposed to look forward to the main event. Main event should be some type of stakes, not for championships either. When I say stakes, I mean storyline advancement. Like something big should kind of happen. They should go off the air with a cliffhanger like WCW used to do all the time and make us want to come back the next week. They kind of did, to be fair, with the Alexa part, right? And Bray. They gave us that cliffhanger. Whether you like the story or not, it's still a cliffhanger technically. But just the match itself, I don't know. We've seen it so many times, I felt, or if we haven't, then that says even worse about it because it feels like we have, which is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I hate to say this as a Marvel fanboy, but occasionally I've watched a Marvel movie, and by the third act, I'm like, I'm just waiting for the after credit scene to see what they set up next. I've kind of already checked out of this, and just, you need to do something to excite me again,
Yep.
Doctor Strange. It's a good example. It's how I felt through the entire last third of Doctor Strange. So, okay, Jonathan Clayton has a question that's a little more in depth, but let's wrap this up. First, let's wrap up tonight, then we'll go to the super chats. All in all, Matt, if you had to give this a grade, and the grade were a color, what would that color be?
What?
I'm trying to change it up, bro. We do this all the time.
Well, if I say red, well, how do you know what number value I value red?
Well, we know you love Carolina blue, so it's not that. We know it's not Carolina blue. We know it's not black because black goes with everything.
Okay, here we go. It is brown for the color of poop because that's what I thought of tonight's show.
I'll give it a 6.5. I'm gonna go the color route. Yeah,
folks. When there's
Tonight's
nothing with the show,
was straight doo doo. You know it was. This was not a good show, guys.
outside of Lashley's entrance and
Yes.
that, you miss nothing.
yeah.
Supposed to be in Mania season.
It is right.
Fastlane. Fastlane's gonna get it going. It's on Peacock. Maybe Brock comes back on that, and then Peacock can promote the hell out of it. They'll do something. They'll give it a build.
That would make me feel like Mania's coming if Brock showed up.
Yeah.
If they can get NBC and NBC Universal in on promoting Mania, and remember, this could be the first Mania. It's gonna be Peacock only. That's a huge promotion. But when SNL did their crossover with WrestleMania, there was no mention of it on SNL.
That's very interesting. So dumb question I'm probably asking, but I don't know this answer. Is that how this works? Is NBC supposed to now promote WWE?
They should.
now?
They should.
I mean, it is. I mean, it's their streaming service, so. But
So, like on their network show, should they be playing commercials or saying, "Hey, WrestleMania coming this weekend," like that? Like that?
I feel like they should. Right? Yeah. You're getting people to subscribe to your thing.
That would be huge. Is that bigger than Fox doing it?
Yes. Fox isn't promoting a pay-per-view.
No, but Fox promotes SmackDown, and
Right.
their ratings are, they're what they are.
Yeah, I would say during a football game, Fox promoting it, but we've seen it doesn't really lead to an increase in ratings. I mean, it always throws me off when I see it, when I see those SmackDown commercials during a NFL game.
I think they've arrived. I'm like, wow, that's pretty freaking big time. I'm excited for them.
Right.
And then the show comes and the rating didn't go up much, if any.
Right.
But NBC Universal needs more Peacock subscribers.
Yeah.
So that is a direct measurement. If they could get, I'm going to just toss out a number. If they could get 250,000, 500,000 new signups for WrestleMania, that would be huge for Peacock to do that one day.
So you guys, like you with the network, it's not automatically porting over. So if you don't have Peacock, you have to sign up for it. It's not gonna your network subscription is not gonna port over. And it's weird because they're losing like millions of people who have deactivated their accounts or not at least email addresses that you could market to.
And when you deactivate your account for the WWE Network, they send you a survey. They want to know why you canceled. And I made sure to let them know.
That's reasonable.
Well, I made sure to let them know it's because they took Swerved off the air and it was just never the same sense.
That's your answer.
Yeah.
Yes. So, John Foster 499 saying, what if they just play Brock's music after Roman wins at Mania and show Paul's shock as if he didn't know he was coming back? That would be interesting.
It would pique my interest if they deliver on it, right?
That would be interesting for sure. That would be a cool twist.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, WrestleMania tickets go on sale next week.
That's
3/16. Right. And they range from $35 to $2,500. So the exact same pricing that they had for last year at the same stadium. But obviously it's 2 nights, so there's going to be combo packages, things like that, single ticket purchases. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Mr. Botsky says Brock is too busy herding cattle.
He is in Canada.
And Matt, we got a question for you when you come back here. But anything else, Raj? Anything we're leaving out? Anything we're not talking about?
There was one more thing. What else? AEW Revolution. Apparently they did really well. It's looking like it'll probably be their biggest pay-per-view number that they've done yet.
Wow.
Good.
So yeah, I don't know if it's the main event, the combination of the big surprise teasing that, but it definitely, whatever it was, it worked. They trended on Google for the first time since their first pay-per-view.
Well,
good.
Sergio Cardenas saying the Randy Orton Soldier Boy feud last week was the highlight of the week.
You said I had a question. I came back here specifically for your question.
I'm sorry, Matt. Oh. Jonathan Clayton, $5, asked, Matt, what's the biggest regret of your wrestling career? Also, would you do a one-off if it was for charity? Well, he has. Love the show as always, guys.
Yeah, I've wrestled shoot, 2 or 3 times now for different charities. I'm about to do it again next month as well, April 10th, or day before WrestleMania. Is that April 10th?
Could be. Sounds like it.
Saturday?
Well, WrestleMania is Saturday and Sunday. And then that Friday... Oh, wait, hold on a second. So we got Wednesday as a takeover, Thursday as a takeover.
2-night takeover?
Yeah, they're going to do a 2-night takeover.
What's the 10th? What day is the 10th? Do we know?
Saturday.
Yeah.
That's when I'm wrestling. I'll be wrestling at a charity event here.
Oh, so you're going to miss night 1 of WrestleMania.
Well, our event, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know why I had it in my head WrestleMania would be one day. It hasn't been in like 2 years, so I don't know. But yeah, I'm doing a huge deal here in our county, Seminole County, to raise money for a Hope and Healing Center. That's a new place for addicts. But biggest regret, I have no idea. Starting painkillers, maybe? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I'm at where I'm at without any trials and tribulations that I have to get over. So I don't regret anything. I don't think.
It's true. You seem pretty damn happy with where the path your life has gone down. And not many people can say that, especially former wrestlers.
Yeah. Eventually they figure it out, hopefully. Hopefully.
Hope so. So
one more thing. This Wednesday, they're teasing 2 huge announcements for NXT. And so one is probably going to be the introductions of women's tag team titles.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, they have a ton of talented women, so at least
true.
It gets some other storylines, it gets them on TV more.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then the other, I'm guessing, is the 2-night takeover. There are reports that NXT will be moving to Tuesday nights starting the week after WrestleMania. And mainly due to the hockey stuff, but obviously a lot of people are going to see that as a big loss to AEW.
Surrender.
Yeah. So, so that it's possible that could be the announcement too, but I think it's probably going to be the 2-night takeover because it feels early to be making that announcement yet.
Val Parfanoff, $4.99, saying they should have Naomi join the Hurt Business.
Okay, it's better than what she's doing now.
Yeah,
it's true. It's true. So I think that just about does it for tonight's edition of the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Now, again, we want to thank the sponsor of this show, Stereo. Go to stereo.com, download the app for iOS and Android, and once you get it, do us a favor. Follow Matt Morgan. Follow Glenn Rubenstein. We usually do our after shows on Monday nights. We did one Friday last week. You can go back and listen to it when you follow. You can listen to all our past after shows on Stereo. But additionally, you're going to get notified when we go live. And what's going to be great is you guys drive the show. And I think we're going to try and do it at a different time this week. Some people said, oh, it'd be great if you could do it earlier. It'd be great if you could do it on different nights. So we're going to try some things out because we want you to be able to participate.
Yeah.
So it'll be good. And we thank Stereo for sponsoring the Wrestling Inc. podcast. It's been great. And we'll figure out next week if we're going to go back to Mondays or Fridays or whatever. But be sure to download that app. Follow Matt Morgan. Follow Glenn Rubenstein. We thank Stereo for sponsoring Wrestling Inc. It's late on the East Coast, folks. Let's wrap this up here. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in tonight. And Wednesday night, who's on for AEW, Raj?
Right now, for sure, Justin and Alfred.
Cool. Sounds good. So until next time, folks, we'll catch you back here on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.